What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Gotta give it to my people who may be struggling with low self-esteem issues, and I want to hopefully, with the grace of God, give y'all like a understanding of why you might feel the way you feel sometimes when it comes to having low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is just basically a lack of self-confidence. You just don't feel like you worth it. It's like, man, I'm not good enough. I ain't I don't have any value. That's what low self esteem is. And even people who um, have a lot of talent, even people who are physically attractive, smart, they could still have self esteem issues. You know, people on the outside they'll say, "Well, man, he got everything going for him. She got everything going for him. How could his self esteem be low? How could he feel like he don't have no confidence or she don't have, because it's rooted in other things. For some people, low self-esteem goes all the way back. It goes back to growing up. It goes back to possibly a parent mistreating you and telling you you ain't worth it or you ain't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. All these different things that unfortunately some parents do tell their children. It can go back to name calling for some people. People picking out certain features about you and roasting you back in school, things of that nature. Um, and those things stick with people even when you kind of just brush it off and, all right, okay, yeah, whatever. You might even laugh with it. But when you hear it enough times, that repetition, it embeds itself in you. And you start to feel like, man, am I really ugly? Am I this? So you have some of the most beautiful people in the world that really feel like they're ugly. But also, um, you have just cruel people who see the beauty in you. They see the good things and the good qualities in you, and they have low self-esteem. So they want to try to impose that on you. Look, I'm gonna make you feel the same way I feel. Look at her. She thinks she nah. I'm gonna make sure that she ain't nothing just like I ain't nothing. But on other levels, low self esteem is simply rooted in things that we don't know and lack of knowledge. And what do I mean by that? There are people out there, man, who go through their whole life, man. They they can't function in society properly, or they don't feel the confidence to be able to really just pursue whatever it is they're trying to pursue, because in some cases a lot of people can't even read. And we look at that as people who can read. We'll look at that like, hey, how you don't know how to read? Man, everybody's situation coming up was different, man. Everybody's circumstances were different, and people were put in positions where maybe they had to be thrusted into adulthood at an early age. Maybe they had to get out of school. Maybe their parents was messed up as well, and they just was never taught. And not being able to read doesn't mean that a person is stupid. Doesn't mean that a person is just dumb or whatever. It just means that they, for whatever reason, were not afforded that opportunity, or they didn't take that opportunity, or they may have struggled early in the learning process and just checked out and say, nah, y'all can have that. But a lot of the things we do, like when you see a lot of our young people, a lot of our older people who end up getting in trouble and getting in situations, man, a lot of times, man, behavioral patterns, bad behavior patterns are rooted in the fact that people can't read, and people just don't haven't accumulated certain amounts of knowledge, certain degrees of knowledge that allow them to properly function. So they lash out in different ways because, again, the self-esteem is low. So when you see somebody that's kind of, reserved and kind of tucked off and kind of to themselves because they shy, or it may not be that it's something that they weird, or man, there's something wrong with him, something wrong with her. It may not be the case, man. There are people who want to engage. They want to be a part of different things, but they know that at some point the situation is going to present itself where they're going to have to maybe speak on this, or hey man, well, read this out loud, or read it. And people like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. So be careful how we look at people and judge people, because low self-esteem is simply rooted in things that we don't know. And from the physical parts that I mentioned earlier, um, somehow we were made to not know, or we were never made to understand how great we are, how beautiful we are. And that's another lack of knowledge. So lift people up, man. Don't tear people down. Make sure you don't do that to your children, and make sure you keep your antenna up to recognize those qualities in other people, friends, and other family members, and other people, that you can mentor and try to help them break out of that, because God ain't make nothing that don't got no value. All right, man. This your big brother K-Rino. I'll catch y'all later on. Peace.